Hello, Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD look at the latest advisory package from Hurricane Irma, or regarding Hurricane Irma from the National Hurricane Center. This is the 11 p.m. Eastern Time or Atlantic Standard Time update, location 17.4, 61.1, and it is about east now, east-northeast of Antigua, and that's good news there for the most part. Still east-southeast of Barbuda, and that's bad news. The terrible news, of course, that is that still 185 mile per hour winds. The bearing is at 285 degrees here, and it's moving at 15 miles per hour. So at least it's moving at a steady clip. That's good news. The pressure, 916 millibars, which that's just catastrophic. That's insanity. But there it is. So this public advisory is in the National Hurricane Center homepage area. So go to hurricanes.gov, you can read the public advisory, it's full of information. I am going to highlight a few pieces of info for you here and go over some of the things that I think are the most important, if I can get this to work for me here. There we go. So let's slide down here. We talked about the speed and the bearing, etc., but let's look at the hurricane force and tropical storm force wind field. That's right here. So the hurricane force winds extend outward up to 50 miles from the center. That's important to note, and you can track that in the Hurricane Pro and HD app, of course, to see what that looks like in graphical format. Tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 175 miles. So the wind field has expanded for the most part today, and the hurricane force wind area is going to ebb and flow as the system breathes in and out, so to speak. Very high storm surge expected across the region from the onshore flow. In some areas, especially the Turks and Caicos, up to 15 to 20 feet. So that's a huge problem, a life-threatening issue. Read all of this if you get a chance. Go to the Hurricane Center website and read this for yourself. Very, very important info contained here within, as they say. The rainfall accumulations up to 20 inches in some areas. And there are a lot of different geographic areas that this is going to impact. So I really do encourage you, if you live or have interest in the area, read that public advisory from the National Hurricane Center. It will help you understand the impacts maybe a little bit better. The next 5 days from the next 24 hours, once we're through here, definitely some implications for impact over Florida, up the Bahamas, possibly Cuba, but we're going to deal with that later because this is all subject to a lot of change, I think, as the pattern over the southeast United States evolves and this trough that's digging in begins to lift out in a couple of days, and whether or not the high pressure area noses in more and shoves this more over to the west before it tries to turn through the alley, we just don't know. And that's the bottom line. We really don't know. But what we do know is that Irma is closing in on some of these islands quickly. Here is Antigua, and I think they're going to be okay for the most part in terms of a direct hit. This is Barbuda right here. And then farther to the west and northwest from there, you have Anguilla and the St. Martin area, and then St. Bartolome, and they are all potentially here in the line of fire for the core to go right over them and maybe very close to the British Virgin Islands and even the northeast tip of Puerto Rico. We're going to have to just watch this closely, especially when it gets within radar range of the San Juan area. To give you an idea of some of the geographic regions that we're talking about, again, the hurricane located out in here roughly with the core. Antigua looking a lot better in terms of direct impact, but Barbuda up here, and then Anguilla and St. Bart's and St. Martin not so much, and then portions of the British Virgin Islands as well, all in this sort of zone where the core could pass through between now and tomorrow night. And you just better hunker down and keep yourself protected, keep your head protected, away from windows. I think all of that's common sense, but you got to let it kick in. You can't wait and just hope that it goes around you or whatever. Well, I don't think I need to go into my safe room. As soon as your instincts tell you that it's starting to get really bad and you get that terrible feeling, you need to go. All right? You need to protect your head and protect your torso in case there is flying debris. You don't want to have to deal with that. For now, the San Juan radar, Puerto Rico area, San Juan, Puerto Rico area radar, the next rad is not too active, but this will fill in over the coming hours for sure. And again, the uncertainty here in the future, fairly tightly clustered over the next few days, are the models. But beyond the next few days, they start to diverge, especially days 4 and 5, and then certainly 6 and 7. So we need to just wait and see and react appropriately and not surge to the big box retailers and the stores and clean everything out before we really know what we're dealing with. But maybe that's already too late. So that's all I've got for now. It is definitely crunch time for our friends down in the Northeast Caribbean. Follow along Hurricane Pro on Twitter, Hurricane Track, that's Hurricane TRACK. That's my handle on Twitter. And of course, I am at hurricanetrack.com, and I'll be posting information as well. All right, I'm going to get some sleep because tomorrow morning after sunup, it's time to get right back at it. For Hurricane Pro HD, and of course, I'm from hurricanetrack.com, as I mentioned. I am Mark Sudduth. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll pick this up again in the morning.